someone to put in the chat like tastes like it smells, and then just puts like a poo emoji or a salt shaker, just like that's it. Oh
Tastes
man.
just like it smells. Yeah, man. Let's take a breath here, and well, maybe you take a breath, and I'll just say quickly: we've got Tim, BBK, and Goodfella coming into a second game versus Spring, Mateus, and ACCM. Spoiler alert coming in 10 seconds. Really great game from Spring, Mateus, and ACCM to get that win. I think they were the underdogs. This game obviously will be a whole new fresh start, different civs all around the board. But we're on Arabia, and once again, it's me, Killer B, with my homeboy, Milmano. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
Hi. Sorry, I just got to deal with this. Someone's revealed my identity.
Oh, boy. Okay. So, Milmano is going to squash some trolls, I suppose, and I'll watch Tim. Tim looks to be on the pocket here. He's going to be pocket Goths. That's a pretty decent, pliable civ to have in the pocket. BBK will be Spanish to his left, so we will have Spanish on one flank, and we'll have Persians on the other. That Persians player could be really nice. Always nice to have the versatility of Persians. On the other side, we will see Spring as Goths on one flank. His pocket player will be Spanish. Ooh, okay. And next to him will be another Persian flank from Mateus. So the big difference here is one team has a Spanish pocket, one team has a Goths pocket. I think that's a pretty interesting difference. Spanish, you can... Go ahead.
No. You're going. I'm just saying. Ooh. I said that like ooh.
Ooh,
Ooh.
ooh. To me, Spanish is a little bit limited. Sometimes you do get pigeonholed into going into conquistadors, which are, good rating units. You can build knights, you can build decent knights. But for some reason, I would just rather have the pocket Goths here. What do you think, Milmano? What's your thoughts here?
Depends. It depends in this occasion, because in 3v3s, I think it's okay to do conquistadors to a small degree, because if your flank is, let's say, Persians or like in this occasion Persians or even Goths, you do have the ability then to go knights themselves, and then you can just very effective unit to use. I think it's okay in this game if you want to do conquistadors. I'm absolutely fine with it. I think that's absolutely no problems. I think in 4v4s, I think it's a bit more tricky to try and pull off. Unless, again, you've got some like Huns on the flank, or even if it's Huns on the flank, I wouldn't do it. But again, something like Persians on the flank, or a civ that would be best utilized to go for it. Or like, let's say if you've got a Mayan's flank, then it's probably better to go knights. It just depends on how it's all laid out for you. In this occasion, in this game for ACCM, absolutely fine to go conquistadors. And for BBK as well, who's Spanish on the flank, you kind of expect him to go conquistadors eventually, because you got Tim here's playing the Goths. He'll be going for the knights, of course. And you can go knights yourself if you really want to. Again, in 3v3, it's okay to go knights on the flank. It's not as disastrous, I find. For Mathis, he's Persians as well. You can probably do knights again. It just, I think in 3v3s you can be a lot more flexible with what you want to do, because it's not just so limited to one pocket to one flank on each side. It's actually, well, one pocket, two flanks. So I think it's take that into perspective. In this game, what's BBK? Don't lose that villager, buddy. It's okay.
I think you might have the best ability to make that noise without having it be GG for headphone users. Like most people, when they make something like that, it just destroys your ears, but it still sounds like sweet music from a cherub to me.
Why I've got that microphone like what you got. I've got a Blue Yeti. I've got something else like a Rode one, but what's so good about it is that you don't have to sound like you're blowing into your nose or something. So
yeah, man. Okay, so let me just let's jump on this whole Civ thing just real quick. I think you're right. I think we're really interested in to see how this unfolds. While you were saying that, ACCM was asking his teammates, "Would you guys prefer if I go into knights or conks?" And his teammates said, "Hey, man, it's up to you. Do your thing. Like you're the pocket." And we haven't seen ACCM communicate back what his plan is. But we did see
he's probably deliberating it.
Mateus did say go conks. So one player told him to go conks. So we will probably see conks here. Fast castle with a quick castle coming up in the castle age and conquistadors. Like you mentioned would be a good play here.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's the most important thing actually when you do these games, is especially in 3v3s, is the communication. like you know on TeamSpeak or whatever, is like ACCM did the perfect thing, which was, hey guys, what do you want? What do you want me to do? Because I could do both. You know, I can do the Knights or the Conks. Because then everyone knows where they're at. They're like, okay, he's going Conquistadors. As the Persians, I can go for the Knights. Because if you go 2 sets of Knights and your player figures it out, like on the other team, they're like, well, okay, just go Pike Siege or something, or Monks or whatever, something like that, and then you're able to basically counter pretty well. So the ACCM did the perfect thing, which is just ask what they want, and then you deliver. And I'm sure ACCM will deliver. So
yeah, man,
we'll see. We'll see what he does.
3v3 is a great setting, and it really does lend itself to great team play. You know, sometimes you play a team game, you play great, but your other flank loses in a 4v4. In a 3v3, you can almost always make sure that your team, you can help the outcome a lot more. I'm watching two Drushes fight each other right now. Goodfella and Spring are kind of flirting on the side here. Persian's Drush from Goodfella and a Drush from Spring as Goths. Micro seems to be on the side of Spring, but he's got his scout a little bit out of the fight. Let's see how this goes. Looks like both scouts will die. Looks like nearly all the militia will die in this fight. But in the end, Spring will leave this with a militia and a half, and he'll probably just go out and continue to scout the map. So nothing major happening on that side. Seems like a Drush is coming on the other side from BBK. That's an interesting call.
Sorry, hang on. Let me just. Sorry, I'll just mute for a second. Hang on.
Sure. That's an interesting call in my feeling, because you know, Spanish. There's nothing wrong with going into scouts before you go conks, if he is going to go conks, but he's going to drush here. So let's keep an eye on what BBK decides to follow this drush up with. Totally fine to drush with Spanish, but I didn't expect both flanks to be drushing on Tim's team. In the meantime, we would expect Tim to probably just be fast castling here. Feudal Age coming in for him late. BBK will be late to it, and so will ACCM. So we've got a couple pocket players here, Goths and Spanish, who should be quickly to the Castle Age. And ACCM, Europe pointing out that deer lure. That was an ugly deer lure, but he gave up on it, I suppose, before he got too committed to it. Drush right now from BBK is still roaming around. Hasn't found anybody to harass just yet. We've got Tim Scout here, though, to help him. And Mateus trying to defend. Mateus with a few scouts out. Should be able to deal with that Drush. I'm a little bit surprised that both of these players drushed, but that is the case. Scouts can often give you, as Spanish, a chance to get across the map. If you go to your opponent in red, but you can't do any damage, you just, walk over to the pocket. The scouts are fast enough. But BBK here has something else in mind. He's going to drush and wall up, sending villagers over to gold. And we've lost Melmano for a second, but I'm back. Oh, we've regained him. Sweet baby Jesus.
Sorry, it was work. He was giving me, my boss was giving me a call, asking a question.
Cool, man. Yeah, this is. I was just about to say, this has been a really great day for casting. We got lucky to have Zach with us earlier. We saw some cool games, and we've actually been treated to. The last game we saw was one of the better games I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, definitely. I've some games I've watched recently, but it's alright. It's a bit kind of expected, or kind of a bit like Anyway, yeah. But no, it was a very good game last game. I'm actually looking forward to this game as well a lot because of this Goth versus Spanish matchup. Because I wanted to touch this a little bit is whilst we get this feudal business out of the way, is with the Goths, of course, is that decision of whether or not would you go for this sort of Castle Age push strat with like 4 or 5 racks, Anarchy, just spam out the Huskars and just raid the crap, or would you go up to that Imperial Age and do it that way? Again, it all depends on how the game is unfolding, but it's an interesting matchup against the Spanish as well, because especially if ACCM's going Conquistadors. So I think ACCM will be okay because he's got a really good map to wall. God,
yes. Yeah, it's very defendable.
In the Huskar scenario, that might come his way. But for now, Tim, of course, will be going for the stables and the Knights approach. But will he be going 1 or 2? As the big question. That villager's dead.
Yeah, villager pincered into this wood line. Mateus, don't give up on her. Don't give up on me, baby. Kill that villager. Yes, very nice. And he'll get out of there. A couple pokes coming in from the spearman. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Tim's decision here, Tim last game, he has to be thinking a little bit about last game. He went 3 TCs, he kind of turtled up, and his team, I would say, in my opinion, lost because of it. This game he has a chance to do something different. He's got a more open map. He probably does need a TC on this front gold in order just to be safe here. But in general, I think he's got to have maybe have that last game in his head, learned his lesson, and maybe he'll go a little bit more aggressive. I mean, granted, it doesn't mean he'll win by going more aggressive here, but I hope to see another stable coming from Tim as Castle Age rolls toward us. The other Goths player is going double range archers. That's Spring on the flank. So I would say an interesting game early on. A couple villagers being exchanged, but for the most part, it's a dead heat. What do you think, Milmano? If you're Tim here, I can see that he's walling up. Are you going to go with the 3 TCs right away, or what's the plan?
He's going 1 TC. Oh, sorry, one stable.
One stable,
So it looks like he's probably going to make that into a 3 TC situation and do what Tim does best, which is wall up. But then again, it's a team game, and I think he's practicing a little and seeing the all wall, so nothing wrong there. And again, it's a good map to wall for him, so I don't blame him at all in this occasion. I think he's just going to try and make the most of it with the economy. Whoa. Okay,
Monastery.
That's smart.
Yeah,
that is smart. Very smart. I get that. Because of Conquistadors. He must have known that he's going to Conquistadors. Probably the scouting, if you look at the Fog of War, he sees the market and, of course, the stone. So he instantly knows, oh, and, of course, that castle construction being built.
Yeah, Tim seeing the base. Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Continue, I'm sorry.
No, just saying that just makes perfect sense why he's gone for the monastery and get the monk out. And then, of course, get the next TC on the gold, because, again, that's the most exposed region of his base, will be the gold.
What do you think of this TC from ACCM? ACCM dropping a castle, TC right next to his castle. That's a weird TC in my book.
A bit weird.
Yeah,
but he wants to get the wood at the same time. I know he's got a TC next to the wood next to his main TC, but I guess he wants to get the wood as well, maybe. And of course, for efficiency's sake, for the gold, because he put it on the right hand side.
Yeah.
If he puts it on the right hand side, then yeah, you get a bit more farming space. But also the fact that your efficiency on the gold isn't as good as it could be. So it's okay. I have no problems with TC. Like, yeah, you're gonna lose a little bit out on the oh, Tim. Buddy?
What's up?
You just lost a knight, like, kind of carelessly.
Tim throwing a knight away. I didn't see it, but I do see that he's trying to stream knights across the map toward ACCM's area. For the moment, we haven't seen a whole lot of conks, but they're just starting to roll out. ACCM on 3 TCs. Tim is on 2 for the moment. His monastery is down. He's starting to get a couple monks out. Here's the 3rd TC coming down. So the 2 pocket players here will have very different strategies. One will be going into knights from 1 stable. The other will be going into conquistadors from a castle. You got to think that 1 stable knights is a bit of a slow play here from Tim. But his teammate, the Spanish player BBK, is also up to Castle Age. And he seems to be going knights as well. So we'll see knights from 2 players on that side of the map. I haven't seen what has been happening between Goodfella and Spring, but it looks like both players there building archers. Castle Age in at similar times, so I think those guys are squaring off 1v1.
Yeah, it hasn't been much since that rush, really. I think they've both just been posturing with their archers, trying to get some map control and so on. Goodfella's up first, though. It was up first, so his crossbows are in. He'll look to push out, maybe try a little bit of pressure. It is probably more, actually, pressure. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, somebody dropping the co-caster question in the chat. Sorry, I don't have a bot right now. The company who made the bot I used to use is now gone. The co-caster is Milmano, Milmano, and you can find him twitch.tv/Milmano. He and I have been doing games together for a long time. We started the day off doing some games with Zach, getting a little bit of input from the one of the originators of casting AOC. And yeah, just having a good time here, watching a live 3v3 action. We saw a hell of a game last game. This one so far is shaping up to be a good one. I can only hope, I can pray with these monks that this is as good of a game as the last one. Conks coming in, there will be 5 of those. Monks are doing their Wololo thing. Looks like we will see 1 conversion, 2 converts now. Monks now cross-healing each other, trying to keep themselves alive. Conquistadors will snipe down a couple monks. In the end, probably a pretty equal fight. Maybe a slight advantage there to Tim. He did lose a few monks and a knight or 2 in the process, but he will push ACCM back to his realm of the map. BBK coming forward with Spanish knights. No upgrades on those for BBK. Headed straight to the back of the map to join his teammate Goodfella. So 2 flanks here working together to push on the green player Spring, and Spring has nothing ready for this. Oh, sweet Jesus, he doesn't see it coming. He probably does because of these walls now. But he's going to have about 10 or 12, looks like 12 crossbows roaming into his economy. This castle is probably going to be denied as long as Goodfella plays his cards right. And there'll be knights on the way to act as a meat shield for this army. This is a really bad position for Spring. He kind of got caught blindsided here. He's going to lose several villagers in the process of just trying to get his TC up. He will have his castle denied for a bit. Maybe he's thinking about some Huskarls here. It is a decent choice. His early castle might suggest that he wants to start pumping those out. They'll do great against crossbows, but he does need to finish the castle, and he does need to get his economy back in order. So a pretty wild fight on that side. Mateus is going into camels, which is a nice counter to the fact that 2 players on the other team have gone into knights. But those camels, for the moment, are not exactly in the right spot. Plenty of crossbows here from Spring. He will win his side back, probably with the help of his teammates' camels. But man, the damage is done, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 villagers going down on that castle.
That is rough.
Yeah,
from a whole untold level. That was really smart by Goodfella. That was just able to go around for that big wraparound, and that caught Spring with his pants down. That's for sure. He was not expecting that.
Yeah.
But then again, though, if you look at Spring as Fog of War, did he not expect? Okay, you look at Spring's Fog of War. You've warred everywhere, but one spot.
Right.
It's kind of like, if you're gonna do a job, do it properly. If you're gonna walk, do what Tim does. If you're gonna do a job, do it. Okay, I know Tim's got some lucky map generation, but to be able to wall so easily. But even still, though, you might as well just finish the job on that bottom side, because it's gonna happen. They're gonna try and find out.
I think I'm still not a good player, but one of the things that I've been developing lately is just get a task done, because your brain can only do so many tasks per game. When you start to palisade up your side, maybe mid-feudal age or something, just finish the job. And you can see that Tim has palisaded the entire side, and then after the fact, he's adding in houses to reinforce those walls. So pretty nice lesson there, I suppose. I mean, you can't really blame Spring. He's fighting up a weight class right now. But he is going to get punished for missing one little part of the wall, unfortunately. ACCM continuing to roll with those conks. He's trying to help bolster his teammate Spring, but they have been very defensive all game long, and Tim has been unbothered for quite some time. He seems to be a little bit quiet, got some villagers coming out to the middle of the map, maybe to drop a castle somewhere. But for the moment, it's been enough. The Blue Knights and Goodfella's crossbows have been enough to keep 3 players busy on the other side.
Meanwhile, though, BBK is up. Or going to be up soon enough. He's halfway up to the Imperial. First one to click up. That's quite interesting. I wasn't really expecting that. He's actually going to go straight into the full Paladin. How do I feel about that? That's okay. I mean, why not? They're trying to abuse his position as best as possible. Mattis, though, you can do either go heavy camel or you can go into the full paladin. You'll probably do the full paladin only because, again, there's a goth pocket, so he won't be going into any more than just the casual husk and halb. And then, of course, there'll be Goodfella who'll be going probably to paladin. Heavy camel is just not a good choice in this game anymore. So camels are fine, but now you have to think about going to those paladin routes for Persian here. Or you go halb yourself, but then that's kind of pointless. So yeah, just stick to paladin.
Let me say quickly thank you for the donation. Again, sorry I can't see who's donating live at the moment because I don't have all my shit together, to be honest. But Milmano and I appreciate it, and I will certainly share a little bit of coin with Milmano.
No. I don't want. The only person I take money off is Zach because on his streams.
Because he's money bags. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll work something out. I'm coming to the UK and I'm buying you a pizza at the very least.
Beer, just beer.
Okay, just
just
beer. Because you like the frozen pizza, right? You're a frozen pizza guy.
Oh yeah, frozen pizza guy. Yeah. Good old university man.
I'm watching at the moment Tim starting to build out barracks, and he's going to Imp, and it's looking like he's going to transition into Huskarls on that side. Goss player maybe thinking about the Anarchy Huskarls route for the later game. I think that's a pretty decent choice because he's seen his opponent's camels. Mateus has gone pretty deep into +2 defense camels. He's really focused on that. BBK will go Cavalier, so there's no reason to have 2 players going deep into Cavalier. What do you think about that? That's got to be the right choice, right?
Yeah, it's the right choice. Yeah, there's no point going that deep into it. It's just he wants to try and invest as much as possible now into what he wants to do. BBK, what's he got this Cavalier up there for? That's a bit of an odd placement.
Yeah, BBK circling around behind those conquistadors.
Oh, he's trying to find the conquistador. Oh yeah, there we go. There's pesky bastards.
Yep.
That's the first time I've seen ACCM actually trying to raid Tim. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And how is Tim like not at like 120 builds? I know Goth isn't the most best in terms of being able to boom, but like he's had an easy time, I would call of it. Really, he barely had much done to him when you think about it. When in terms of what could happen,
Right.
But anyway, he should be okay. He's going to get the Elite Huskar upgraded now, and he's probably got everything else ready to go with. But ACM, here we go. Elite Conquistador, Conscription coming out of him as well right now.
Yeah, ACCM losing a couple conks in the north inside of Tim's base, but like you said, he's really rolling. He's on this game. He's decided on what meta strategy he's going to go with, and he's really going all in to do it. Spring is still being hurt on the other side. We've got Knights from Goodfella continuing to push on that front side. They will kill some villagers on this castle, maybe several if we see a good Mangonel shot rain in. But the castle will go up for Spring. Go ahead.
What was that? Spring! Spring! God damn it, Spring! Okay, the castle will go up, but I feel like he lost a few more. All he had to do in that situation was get a couple of those villas on the left-hand side, put 2 stone tiles to the left of that castle. That would have stopped the knights from coming in and putting any more pressure.
Right.
He lost a couple more villagers than he needed to there, but that's, again, I'm being very picky, but it's this kind of things that you would see from, I don't want to sound like a complete dick to Spring. He's not a lovely guy, but when you want to become a much better team game player and to like up there, those are the sort of plays that you need to have in mind in terms of being able to limit the amount of damage done to you.
Right.
To get the most out of it, if you know what I mean. So, wasn't a doubt castle. That's reserved for ultimate failures. But it's just something to keep in mind when these things happen. Like, I'm very easy to do this in my ivory tower, but when I see 2K players play, I expect nothing but the best.
Yeah, man, and Spring is good enough that we can expect really good things from him. He's a real strong player, especially 1v1.
Oh, yeah.
At the moment, I'm seeing Mateus actually spreading some camels toward the economy of BBK. Unfortunately, he hasn't actually decided what he's going to kill there. He's killing a house, which is a bummer. But those units are actually pretty annoying, and he is a little bit inside the eco. He's decided to not upgrade. He is upgrading to Paladin as we speak. So we'll see Mateus with Paladin, his teammate with Conquistadors, and the player here in green mostly just going into trash because he's had a lot of trouble. But Man-at-Arms is coming for Spring, so maybe we're going to see champions out of that side. So Champs, Conquistadors, and Paladin versus Paladin. Man, this is hard to do. Paladin.
Why is he going? Sorry, go ahead.
It's basically an equal build, I suppose, at this point. Sorry, what's on your mind?
I'm just thinking about why is he... Okay. Wouldn't you think it'd be a bit more appropriate to go for the hand cannoneer route than the match champions? But then the problem with that actually then is that you've got to get the chemistry, and he hasn't got the chemistry, or in the university. So in fact, it does make more sense to go into the champion line. The
thing to consider is if you look at Tim has got some Huskarls already inside of the base, elite husks inside of the green base from Spring. So the only desperate play here is to start pumping out champions, I think. You know, you just don't have enough time to get enough hand cannons, right?
It's okay, yeah. It's Mathis has now stepped in to try and help clean this up. I get the champions now, but to begin with, I was a bit like, what?
Yeah, me too. I didn't see those Huskarls.
But no, I get it now. I get why he's gone for that. I mean, it's just because he hasn't got the chemistry. I would expect more to see. Oh, he lost the Imp TC as well. I didn't notice that until just then.
Oh shit! I have to go Imp again. It. Yeah, the green player Spring here losing his Imp upgrade. Oh, that is really hurtful. His team, though, is rolling. I mean, ACCM is kind of rolling. He's really working his way. Yeah.
Thank God.
He's really working his way toward Tim. He's got Mateus there with a couple of Paladin. He's got a few Trebs set up. We've even got a missionary. We've got a couple of missionaries out. How do you feel about that? Spanish missionaries coming out, baby. Oh, yeah.
You know what? You can see why. I mean, you're not going to be converting any siege, particularly this game at this point anyway. They're a lot more mobile, and you can convert. So, I mean, you know, it's a win, goddamn win, unless they get focused down.
Those missionaries will grab a few conversions. Actually, they will grab 4 conversions, I think, from BBK's Paladins. So they paid themselves off, I suppose. Really nice to see an old man on a goat turning a battle. But the castle there on the front is in a lot of trouble, and ACCM's push needs a little bit more help from his teammates.
Yeah, he needs Matt to step in here and help him fight some of the bulk of this army, which is the Paladins, to help frontline it. Because the Conquistadors do damage. They do quite a decent amount of damage. It's just the fact that they can't frontline against this complete like clusterfuck of Paladins and Halves with a few Huskars thrown in. So Matt's stepping in now, but and goodfella now joins the party. Oh, hello.
Yeah,
Where have you been,
goodfella
buddy?
is better late than never, and he's got Paladin on the way as well. It's a really tough situation with Spring losing that Imperial TC, because you can see every color in the game except for green is in the center of the map right now. I mean, these guys are all going at it to see who can control the middle, and unfortunately Spring just can't contribute because he kind of got rolled over there by Tim.
Yeah, he's actually got quite a big bulky army now, though, thanks to this. Mainly longswords, which against Paladins is not the best, but there is a lot of halberdiers backed up, so it's okay. You should try and make something of this, though, and try and put some pressure on goodfella, just distract him, move him away, 1 or 2, and just do something. He's got the 2 hand swords now, he just needs a champion to finish it all up. It's now a question of when is goodfella going to get hand cannons. Someone's got to get hand cannons this game, for Christ's sake. There's goths, for Christ's sake. Someone get hand cannons. I'm desperate for it. It makes, some sense for the Persian to do it in this occasion, because on the flank versus goth. Problem is that he's exposed to Paladins, so he needs to do both. He needs to do Paladins and hand cannons. But I'll be honest, that is quite an expensive option.
Right.
So I'll cut him some slack.
It is a very expensive option, and so is the losing another castle here for ACCM. ACCM needs those castles for Conquistador production, and he's in a little bit of hot water. Conquistadors are going back. The last castle in this unit is going to be surrendered as well, probably. I mean, it's not over yet, but it could happen. Thanks, Reaper, for the cheer. Appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, I guess ACCM is losing some ground. It's giving Spring some time to recover. He's added in champions, and maybe he can get out here and impact this game. A couple castles traded for a chance to get your teammate back in is not that big of a deal. But it's starting to look like Tim's team is kind of rolling here. They're really moving forward. They're behind in the score, though, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah, well, I think it's not so bad in the middle. I think they're holding the line really well, because now Spring's coming in with these champions. Right. And that's a real problem right now for Tim, because Tim hasn't got much to counter it. In fact, the entire team hasn't got the tools right now to deal with this. I keep banging on about the hand cannons or Conquistador or something to deal with these champions. Yeah, you got Paladins, but you got Paladins from Mathis. There's also Halbs in the mix here from Spring. This champion pick, I was giving it some crap earlier, but until I realized why it made sense, and now it's making even more sense, because this is a great counter to the Huskars, to the Halberdiers, of course. If it gets worked together well with these Paladins, they're able to make something of this, and they're able to push this middle bit, which is what they desperately need to do.
Huge fight in the center. I mean, those champions are going to work. Mateus sending in Paladin as well. The castle from ACCM is probably going to stand. Trebs will die just before getting that to about almost half health. But yeah, for the moment, this push will be rebuffed, and it looks like that castle that I said might die will stay up. Trade has been established at this point in the game. We've got quite a lot of trade from Mateus. Holy sweet Jesus. Mateus has 6,500 trade profit already. Holy cow.
What?
Yeah, he's out early with 50 trade cards.
Classic. Actually, I'm not surprised. Whenever I've ever seen him or even played with him one time in a team game, it was like with Theodore, they were like, well, they had at one point they had 9 markets down, each of them. It was like the 30-minute mark. I was like, let's start trading. And I'm like, what? You're insane? How could you afford this and go up to Imperial? We're gonna die because you've got no gold to invest into military. And then sure enough, we won because they had bucket. I had no gold, and I was like, can you send me some gold? And 4K came my way. I was like, oh, maybe this has paid off. So anyway, enough of my tangents.
I mean, the longer you can last, as long as you don't spend so much resource that you die, I mean, it's great, right? More gold is always better than less.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you can,
absolutely.
If you can make it work, man. Okay, so I was interrupting you. You were about to say something?
No, that was pretty much it. I was trying to shut myself up a little bit. So Spring's making this work right now. 6 trebuchets out, just continuously flooding with more. But this is the thing that Spring needs to do. Is another thing that he needs to do. He's got to build more Raxus forward. Like his entire supply line is in his own base. Like where else are the Raxus? If that was him, he needs to get Raxus in the middle where ACCM is right now with those monasteries to help frontline against Tim and his combination. And you need, of course, Raxus on your own side where those trebuchets are. Because at some point, you're going to have to try and reinforce your army the deeper you go in. And that takes time, even if you are Goths. So he needs to get some more Raxus forward. And I doubt he's lacking wood. Yeah, 800, nearly 1,000 wood. This is go time. This is like, let's go. Right now.
What's interesting here is that Goodfella's army doesn't do anything to help his cause. He's got quite a few Paladin, but he can't engage Spring there because Spring has Champion and a bunch of Halb mixed in. It's just not a good fight. In the end, maybe a few of the Trebs will be sniped, but we will see a couple of TCs probably going down here for Goodfella, who was picked on last game and seems to be getting picked on this game. He's got Champions rolling through his economy. And I could not agree more about a couple barracks on the front, and it looks like Spring is listening to you because he's adding in 2 barracks as we speak, right next to his Trebs on the front.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Ask and you shall receive.
And of course, on top of this, ACCM now starting to build Bombard Towers for this late game as well. Great. Just great. Just great.
Yeah, it's going
absolutely fantastic.
It's going really nicely.
On both sides as well. He's pushing on the right with the Bombard Towers. He's in the middle. I've barely seen anything on the left. I think this has been like a gentlemanly agreement to not touch each other. But anyway.
Look at this, though, Momano. We've got probably 30 Paladin and 25 Conks, maybe 20 Conks, rolling right to the back of this trade. I mean, this is a massive investment of army. And there's not much here from BBK to try to stop it.
Yeah, poor BBK. I cannot engage this. Like, where's Tim? Okay, Tim's now coming.
Tim's coming over with Halb as we speak, but those Conquistadors are going to peel off toward the trade, and that is going to be a real punch in the nuts, man. I mean, think about how many carts. I don't even think we can count how many carts should be going down here pretty quickly.
Not even one's gone down yet.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay,
where did I say that?
I know. What he should have done, in my opinion, just then, is what you see a lot from expert players, just like ACCM, which is a small mistake maybe, is you split those conquistadors up. You send a few south, you send a few up to the north, to the front of the trade line, because you don't need that many, because it's a bit of overkill just for one trade cart with all those conquistadors, right?
Right.
So if you split them up like 4 or 5 like splits, you get 5 at each time technically. You might get maybe 2 in one, you know what I mean, from this group.
Absolutely.
But you can be a lot more efficient here in taking out the trade.
Yeah, it's true. Overkill is a big problem. I mean, if you have 20 conquistadors shooting a trade cart, you're wasting 15 bullets, basically. He's going to split them in half now, especially because of the halbs here from Tim are coming in. And this is still just such a damaging blow at the moment.
You see this?
Which one?
Like the conquistadors, like
oh yeah, absolutely.
South, look at that, taking 2 at a time rather than just 1.
Absolutely, man. Right. And you asked again, and you received again. So there you go.
Finally. Yeah. Finally.
Yeah. Another issue with killing trade with conks is that you have to kind of be in a straight line from the carts you're trying to kill. It's a little bit of an awkward unit. A lot of those bullets end up missing. ACCM here is losing a lot of units to Halbs, unfortunately, but he's done a lot of damage inside of the base. Let's look at gold for a moment. Spring floating 1,500. Mateus floating 2K, ACCM has 700, BBK has 170, Goodfella 14, and Tim 200. So Tim and BBK are really completely out of gold at this point. So this trade rating really hurts those 2 guys.
And Goodfella's dead as well. This game is pretty much nearly over now. Should be seeing GG from them.
Yes.
I know people shouldn't call these games, but I think it's quite clear right now how it's looking.
Yeah.
There is a couple of Paladins raiding this trade though here from Goodfella, which is nice. Kill quite a few cards. Look at this. That's actually quite handy, but not going to be enough though.
Yeah, I think this has been another barn burner of a game. I mean, holy shit. Spring, I thought, was pretty much cooked when his Imperial TC got killed. And he just kind of slowly got back in this and started grinding this one out. And now we see Spring into the trade on the top of the map with trash, and trash can be really annoying to get out of your trade sometimes. It's hard to kill all of those halbs, but they will just slowly and continuously run in there. Champion still pushing on the front. Yeah, I mean, it's still a game. You have to feel, if you're Goodfella, that you have a chance. You've got Paladin roaming through this trade as we speak. Mateus continuing, though, to pump out Paladin with all of that extra gold that he has. ACCM's Bombard Tower push, along with some Trebs, continues to roll forward. Siege Ram has also been bought by ACCM. You can just see how rich ACCM's team is. They're spending a lot of gold here, and they're continuing to make this push. But yeah, Goodfella must be feeling good about his trade rating. It still hasn't been put out yet.
Yeah, it's still going, which is surprising. I mean, Spring's got Halberdiers right by the Paladins. Oh, okay, there we go. Now he's clicked on the units. You know he's still missing the +4 attack upgrade on the Goths, right?
Which player? Spring?
Spring. Might want to get
could
it.
Do a little more damage there.
He might want to. I mean, it's not like he's playing Goths and the other thing is making his infantry. But anyway, he's creamed through Goodfella, and Goodfella's like, I can't fight directly.
Right.
You see, to a degree, he's kind of correct right now because all he's making is Paladin. But like in Castle Age, he made crossbows, which I found a bit of a strange choice to a degree, because I can get why, because he got knights from the pocket, but I think you need to be a bit more aggressive with the crossbows, like Siege Workshop and everything. But this is the thing, that you're playing with Tim, and this is the second time Tim's gone quite conservative in the pocket, and then unless you're going to get assurance, which is where he's going to be aggressive, then you aren't going to do it. So when the Goths got to the Imperial Age and got the ball rolling, like finally after losing the MTC, then it's very difficult unless the Persians was able to adapt by getting hand cannoneers out as well as halberdiers or something like that to go along with it in case the hand cannons get focused.
Right.
So I do feel for him to a large respect, but you can always throw the argument, which I am doing right now, is that there's always something you can do about it, like in the earlier game or even in the late game, in some way or another, unless of course you are. Unless of course you are like someone like Goths against Turks and like that. It's kind of like, oh, gunpowder, but
yeah, I think it's fine to say that mistakes were made in this one, and notably at this point in the game we see the blue player BBK having to put in quite a lot of trash, adding in light cav out of a couple of stables. He does still have Paladin production going, but he's needing to add in some trash to keep his numbers up. Meanwhile, Mateus has 77 units, and most of those are Paladin, because he's been absolutely rich as Donald Trump for quite some time, and he's spreading those Paladin through everybody's eco. We've seen the teal player Goodfella relocate his economy. His initial eco is just totally GG. Bombard towers all through it. Goth spam coming in from Spring from every direction. Spring will grab Blast Furnace here, Mamano. Again, ask and you shall receive, but he will do it just a bit too late. GG will come in before that completes.
Unbelievable. You didn't get hand cannon. Oh, for hand cannon? I mean, Blast Furnace. Sorry, I was reading the chat and that's why I said hand cannon.
That was a great game, man. That was a great 3v3.
That was a very good 3v3. Props to Spring, actually, for coming back, because that must have been rough to lose your MTC and get battered like that to a small degree. But I think they played very well, actually, Matters, ACCM and Spring. Again.
Yeah.
Again.
Another really great game. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
I'm trying to ask you, where do you think the fault lied in this game? Like,
I think that to me it was ACCM being decisive in making a play and going conquistadors, and it was Tim being a little indecisive and going one stable with a couple of monks, and it just wasn't clear to me what his plan was, and then he transitioned to Huskarl. I don't know, man. I hate to pin it on the best player on the team, but I feel like that one for Tim was a little bit of a head scratcher from my point of view. What do you think? What's the turning point for you? And by the way, who's the MVP here of the winning team? Who played the best?
I don't know.
MVP.
I think ACCM played very
MVP.
well for the late game of Spanish, actually,
Mhm.
going full conquest. I think his positioning was actually rather good. It wasn't too, he didn't overextend too much into the enemy base in terms of like diving in and all that business. I think he consolidated his gains like in the middle, and then basically allowed like Mathis to get involved. I think Mathis played a good solid game. Like I expect Mathis to play a solid game,
Mhm.
but look at the KD though for Mathis, 607. That's Will Ice Cream is 373.
Sweet
Like
Jesus.
that's strong.
Yeah.
So he played a very good game.
I mean, he started trade early and got tons of paladin.
That as well. Like
Yeah.
that trade early really helped him out. Where did it go wrong? I think you're right that it was a bit weird to understand Tim's plan for the Castle Age. I get why he went to the monastery and then one stable and then he tried to boom. It's just more of the. It didn't feel as coordinated, I think, that game, like from BBK, Tim, and Goodfella. I think there's better coordination from Mathis, Spring, and ACCM. I don't know if they're on Discord or TeamSpeak or not. I don't think they are each team because of various reasons. But I think it's just from a coordination perspective, it was just a lot better from Mathis and ACCM. Like when Spring was getting pressured, like Mathis instantly sent the Paladin straight over there to help him out. Because if they didn't, then he'll be even more screwed than he could have been. So I think it's just a much better coordination from them. I keep saying the word coordination. I love the word coordination.
Hey man, we're coordinating nicely here, and I'm just looking at the achievements real quick. Looks like Tim will have 2 relics, most of the relic gold. BBK had 2 of the others, so they had all the relics. But I think the trade will probably say a whole different story. There was a really massive difference in trade. You can see Mateus with 27,000 trade profit. Holy sweet Jesus! He also collected the most gold, but I mean that's probably a given.
That's insane.
But yeah, 27.6k gold from trade. Great game, man. Great 3v3. And I would say this is an upset twice in a row. Lightning can strike twice from time to time.